Hello, my name is Boris Provatorov. I am the head of the press service of RosCo Consulting and Audit Company. Throughout the year 2025, significant adjustments were made to migration regulations. We will throw light on the key changes in migration legislation. The amendments to the migration law primarily focused on tightening the rules for foreigners' stay in Russia. However, some relaxations for migrants were also made. Creation of a unified register of non-complaint migrants. From the 5th of February 2025, a deportation regime was introduced for illegal aliens. A special register of foreigners who violate immigration rules was launched for this purpose. If a migrant is added to the register, they are required to report to the Ministry of Internal Affairs upon the first request and provide information to their staff about their location and any change of address. Those included in the register of controlled persons are subject to significant restrictions. A ban of driving, opening bank accounts, registering a business, and changing their place of residence without the approval of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. The Registry of Controlled Persons is available on the Ministry of Internal Affairs website and on the Public Service portal. While previously a court order was required to deport foreigners, from February the 5th, the Ministry of Internal Affairs has been granted these powers. Migration amnesty. Foreigners who violated migration regulations could legalize their stay in Russia. Migrants were given the period from the 1st of January till the 10th of September to legalize their status. After this period expiration, migrants were required to leave Russia voluntarily or the deportation procedure was applied to them. To regularize their status, migrants were required to submit biometric data, undergo a medical examination, pay off mandatory payment arrears, and provide proof of a proficiency in Russian and knowledge of Russian history and fundamentals of Russian legislation. The relaxations did not apply to all migrants. Those who illegally crossed the state border, those who had a court verdict finding them guilty of a crime, those who support terrorist or extremist activity, pose a threat to national security or encroach on public order. If migrants have signed a contract for military service with the Russian armed forces or military formations, then previous decisions regarding deportation, readmission, denial of entry, undesirability of stay or reduction of temporary stay are not valid. Are you facing immigration issues? RosCo's team of experienced lawyers can help you obtain a visa, residence permit or citizenship. We guarantee legal support, a personalized approach and confidentiality. Trust our experts. Use promo code VIDEO-ROSCO for 15% discount. See all contact information in the description. Don't delay. Act now. Launch of the AMINA application. From the 1st of September 2025, an experiment has been launched that provides the digital registration of migrants. Participants in the experiment were visa-free migrants who are staying or currently residing in Moscow or the Moscow region for employment with or without a patent. Foreigners must register with the AMINA mobile app, which is designed to track their presence on Russian territory. To do this, you need to download the AMINA mobile app, register in it using your foreign citizen card. The registration deadline in the app for foreigners who already live and work in Moscow or the Moscow region is until the 29th of November. Have arrived to Moscow or the Moscow region within 30 days of their entry into Russia, have been registered for migration purposes in Moscow or the Moscow region, and their current registration expires after the 1st September within 30 days of their current registration expiration. If the AMINA app fails to transmit data within 3 days, the foreigner may be removed from migration registration. They may then be added to the register of controlled persons and subsequently deported from Russia. By the way, we share all important changes and news in the immigration sphere on our social media. Subscribe to stay up to date. Reducing the period of temporary stay of foreigners in Russia. From the 1st of January 2023, the period of stay for visa-free foreigners in Russia has been reduced to 90 days per calendar year. Previously, migrants could stay in Russia for no more than 90 days within 180-day period. Non-compliance of the staying regime are expected deportation, followed by the prohibition of entry to Russia. The new limit does not apply to foreigners, nationals from EAEU countries working in Russia, as well as their family members, who have received a patent, as well as their children, who have received a work permit, including for highly qualified specialists, as well as their family members, who have signed a contract on education, as well as their spouses and children, who have close relatives living in Russia, who have received or applied for a temporary residence permit, including for educational purposes, or a residence permit, who have status as participants in the state program of the resettlement of compatriots, holding a refugee certificate or certificate of temporary shelter in Russia. Increasing fees for foreigners. Starting the 1st of September 2023, the new fees for migration services previously provided free or of charge were introduced. Initial migration registration at the place of temporary residence 500 rubles. Exception: visa-free foreigners participating in the digital registration experiment. Extension of temporary stay 1000 rubles. Registration at the address of residence 1000 rubles. Issuance of a duplicate or correction of information into a patent or work permit 2100 rubles. Registration or renewal of a patent, extension of a work permit 4200 rubles. Barrier to sham marriages. As of the 25th of January, the period of marriage to a Russian citizen required to obtain a temporary residence permit (TRP) under the simplified procedure has been extended. The marriage must be for at least 3 years. The foreigner must have a common child in the marriage with a Russian citizen. In this case, the marriage term limitation doesn't apply. It is also possible to obtain a temporary residence permit (RVP) under the simplified procedure without obtaining a TRP, if the foreigner has a child in the marriage with a Russian citizen permanently residing in the Russian Federation. The other parent is a Russian citizen. In this case, marriage is not required if there is a confirmed evidence of cohabitation in Russia with the child and shared household duties with the child's mother or father for at least 3 years. The migrant is the sole parent of the child who is a Russian citizen and permanently resides in the Russian Federation. Conclusion. Let me summarize. In 2023, a registry of migrant offenders was introduced, the length of stay in Russia was shortened, the state fee of migration service was increased, a barrier was put in place to prevent Sham marriages, and digital registration for foreigners was implemented. Thank you for watching this video to the very end. This was Boris Provatorov. Do you have any questions? Don't delay. Write them right now in the comments and our lawyers from RosCo will answer you completely free of charge. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Stay up to date, stay connected with RosCo.